Welcome to HFCL Time Machine. Past, present, future, all connected.
Hi everyone. Today we have with us Dr. Srikanth. He is the Chief Knowledge Officer at NanoCell Networks. Sir, great to have you here. And first of all, congratulations on completing yet another successful season of Wi-Fi Knowledge Summit. And I think it's growing every year as we are witnessing it.
Thank you. And you are right that this particular summit, we had more than what we could handle. But I'm happy that we could do justice to all the interest in the event.
So Dr. Srikanth, you have spoken extensively about 5 evolutions across the Wi-Fi generations. And I think you've had that unique perspective across every generation. Now, when you look back, primarily moving from Wi-Fi 5 to Wi-Fi 7, what, according to you, were the biggest structural, or I would say standards, which brought a more impact on the Wi-Fi industry as a whole?
So from Wi-Fi 5 to 7, there was lots of attempts which have been made in the standards. For example, features like OFDMA, multi-user MIMO, TWT, and a few other things. I think these would be some big ticket items. Of course, constant increases in modulation, coding, related changes, etc. But I think their impacts, as you might have seen from some of the results presented, I think we are still waiting for optimizations with respect to some of the impacts of these features. And I hope that, either through organic mechanisms or maybe through some AI techniques, as somebody had envisaged in one of the answers here, we would be able to get some leverage out of some of these benefits, right? But I think some of the higher bandwidth options which we have seen over time, they are slowly starting to take root, maybe not in the mainstream AP station, but maybe in location and also AP to AP connections, etc. So I think overall, more than the Wi-Fi 5 features which have evolved from Wi-Fi 5 to 7, I think the growth of the industry in terms of the product adoption and the associated hardware kind of evolution, I think has had a bigger impact, I would say, rather than just the 5 sort of evolution.
Great. And we saw that the summit extensively talked about Wi-Fi 7 and pretty much features like MLO, having a 320 megahertz of bandwidth and preamble puncturing. Now that we are seeing Wi-Fi 7 in deployments, what according to you has been the feedback from the industry now that deployments are actually happening with respect to what the expectations were?
So as I said, always these standards have been, as you know from the discussions today, these standards are being also pushed out fast. And some people are complaining that we don't have time to optimize them because they're very complex. And I think it's no joke that, first of all, they're working, right? So as you saw, even in the Apple sort of devices, there were some very interesting things shared that now vendors are thinking about how to use this for quality of service. I would say the biggest benefits which are just starting to appear is individual device vendors starting to utilize MLO for quality of service or quality of experience, because this is one thing that we did not have as a feature in earlier standards, where you could do your highly delay sensitive traffic on a link which is more suitable than another link. So I'm looking forward to this getting more mainstream.
Right, that's correct. And you touched based upon TWT, and which makes me curious about IoT. And when we look back at IoT, we still see that BLE, Zigbee, or even Thread, they have been dominating the IoT ecosystem. So where do you think Wi-Fi will play its role in the longer run?
So I've always said that it's almost like a very interesting thing that Wi-Fi has not done a lot for IoT, but it is found in a lot of IoT devices simply because the other end has AP and Wi-Fi, takes you to the rest of the world. Right. Other technologies like Bluetooth and Thread still don't have that, but now you're seeing a marriage of them through these bridge devices in Matter, etc., where a Thread plus Wi-Fi is able to help out a lower power IoT device. So in that sense, Wi-Fi is going to get even more prominent, because even if it is not there in the end device, it's there in the bridge or some intermediate device which helps the end device to go to the internet.
Right.
Which is ultimately Internet of Things,
That's
right?
right. Yes.
So the thing has to reach the internet. So Wi-Fi has a big role, not necessarily in the direct endpoint, but even in the intermediate points.
The second aspect of the summit touched base upon Wi-Fi 8. Now I know that it's pretty much right now too mature or immature to talk about it, but what do you see? Will it be an incremental, I would say, upgrade to the Wi-Fi ecosystem, or will it structurally or architecturally change something in Wi-Fi?
It's very ambitious. As you know, you were there yesterday and you saw today the presentation by the chip vendor. It's very ambitious. The emphasis also is in the ultra high reliability segment. So all the right things are being said and put. But the challenge is, because of the time gap between Wi-Fi 7 and Wi-Fi 8, I think the first big advantage is which we might see is that the Wi-Fi 8 will actually realize the benefits of Wi-Fi 7 properly. This will be probably the first benefit. Like the MLO I said, for getting good quality of service will probably become a reality in the Wi-Fi 8 era. And because Wi-Fi 8 has so many features which will take their own time to get optimal in a certain sense, I would say that the maturity for those features might take some more time. But you will get a lot of advantage that the Wi-Fi 7 features start working well in the Wi-Fi 8 era. That I think might be the initial success story. And then later on, some of the other things which are planned, some of them might become a hit. Some of them, might fall by the wayside. It's very early to predict which ones will be adopted in a big sense.
So ambitious, but really positive.
I think very positive, and also hitting the right things, reliability, latency, and so on and so forth.
Right. So the last question, and it's any discussion is not complete without the discussion of AI. So, and we have been discussing extensively in the summit as well that how AI will be introduced. So what is your take how AI is going to reshape Wi-Fi industry? As
you saw, right, my questions were very pointed. There are, I think, two broad camps that everybody in the wireless space is saying, what do we do with AI? I mean, first of all, is wireless so important for the AI? That's out there. People think it is because it provides connectivity. Does it add more value to the connectivity? Does it bring more responsibility to the connectivity technology? I think that's still to be proven, though we hope so. And the other side are things like what you saw today, edge AI, right? Which means that now your access point, apart from being just the bridge, which is what the small role, already it has taken a role bigger than that. But now it takes an even bigger role where it becomes the edge device for all your local appliances which have to run some models, but they don't want to send the data all the way to cloud. Cloud might be indispensable, but still you want to have a local model running appliance, and I think the AP is very well positioned for that.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Srikanth. It was really lovely talking to you. Have a nice day.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You've been listening to HFCL Time Machine. For more conversations like this, find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube.